Hello, my beautiful peoples. And today, I learned how to do something really cool.
But now that I'm back to normal, I'd like to introduce you to something I'd like to call 3 free games. And yes, it is exactly who you think it is.
Why? Why? Why, oh God fucking why?
But AAA Gamer, you may be pondering, why make this series? And this all started when I wanted to make a series that would be somewhat unique. Well, there are variations of the 3 games. As a broke boy, why not just play free games for my variation of the 3 games? So let's get right into it. Oh yes, and also, before I forget, I will be rating these games on 4 criteria, which is gameplay, how the game works, intuitiveness, how well does it teach me what I'm supposed to do, type thing. Story, obviously, one of the most important parts about a game. And finally, is it fun, actually? Anyways, let's actually get into it now. Alright, first we have Poco. Well, don't get me wrong, I did look, or I'd heard things about this game already. I already know some things about this game, kind of. But I've never played it. Every single game I'm going to put on the series, I'm going to make sure I have never played it before. So, just in case you were wondering. Oh man, already starting in. But anyways, we got 3 big boys. We got 3 big boys. Look at them. Look at all of their faces. And then we got the little dude. We got the small little dude. That's our guy. That's our guy. Poco. Yeah, Poco. And it's just, this game is a pretty fun one. I will say it is a cool little one. I do feel like I want to go back in after I did beat the game. There are like different endings, quote unquote. It's a fun one. It's a puzzle, so it kind of throws me off personally because I'm not great at puzzle games. It's not the best game I've ever had, but it's still a pretty fun one. I think I did bad. Oh no, that was horrendous. Oh. Oh my goodness, dude. I'm bad at this. Okay, what you just saw is that's the beginning of the game. It is a really nice, homey type game. I really enjoyed this one. I just have some gameplay, but it is such like a nice little homey game. It's nice. It's all about like a little clown run to the group. I mean, look at him. Look at this wimpy little baby wimpy clown next to these big boy clowns. But it's so amazing. The world is super cool. It's meta at times. Every time I think of a meta game or I'm playing a meta game, I always think back onto Undertale. I don't know. It's like Undertale is like the grandfather of meta games, just being like, hey guys, guess what, you're in a game and we're hinting at we know that. There's all sorts of like wacky designs of characters. You got this like lanky, chill, like what up, dude, esque character, and then you got like the old grandfather bug that was part of a band, and you even got a beetle you can milk. Yes, it is a beetle cow. No, but it's very creative. It is a much shorter game, I will say, though. I was able to get to the ending. Granted, I didn't go too in depth. I was kind of going through. Each character has multiple dialogue things and stuff. And there's collectibles and all that. I didn't really do that though, but if you want to, definitely more than an hour. But I beat, quote unquote, beat the game in like around, I think, like an hour and 15 minutes isk. A couple things I do want to say about it. I like how logical, even though we're in a very wacky, not fantasy, but like very wacky, cartoony world, things kind of align. The puzzle pieces start to create, like, I needed to make paint for this one French looking dude. He even has a very French name. Look at that. I'm not even going to try and say it. But you need to make paint for him. But to do that, you need to collect these flowers across the map. And then you need to crush them in this little, like what those people crush things to make face masks with and crunch seasonings together or whatnot. And then you go down to this like a wheel turner water thing, and it like you put the put the crushed up dyes into it so you can mix it and have the colors. And to figure out which colors you needed, you talk to him, and he also has like a little Venn diagram type thing to tell you what colors you need to mix and whatnot. It's very just like, oh yes, once I get this thing, I could go over here, because earlier when I looked at this, it was saying that I needed this item, and now I have that item. Now I remember what I need to do, and it, like, as the puzzle pieces collect on themselves, you get more of like, oh yeah, I know what to do now. I know what to do now. But it does have like a little hinting system. It's a very nice hinting system. It's like if you don't know where to go, it'll highlight on the map where you should be next, where to get the next item and whatnot. Yes, but very good game. Big thumbs up from AAA Gamer himself with my 20 subscribers. My opinion is very important. But yes. Anyways, on to the ratings. All right, for gameplay, not that bad. Super simple mechanic, point and click, you go towards it. I do like the little fact that like the hand does the little gestures, like if you're on a character, it does like a little mouth movement with the hands, or if you're going into an area, there's a little walking animation for the hand point clicker or whatnot. So that's really good. I'd give it a 10. I give it a 10 out of 10. By the way, I'm rating it out of 10. Standard, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, on to intuitiveness. It was a bit rough at the very beginning. It was a bit hard to just be like, oh, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? After a little bit, as I was saying, puzzle pieces kind of. And now you're starting to get the picture, and now you're understanding what you're supposed to be looking for. I'll give it an 8, solid 8. Smack it down, 8 out of 10. Because like, it's not the hardest thing in the universe. It does take a second for you to understand, though. On to story. Story, very simple story. I like it. I like the different like aspects of each character. Each character has kind of their own place in the story. It's very nice, simple story. You get kicked out, you want to learn, and it gets a little bit more complex when you meet other people. When you get more into other people's stories, you're like, these people live little lives down here underneath the big circus thingy, but they all know what the circus is, which I find funny. So I'll give the story like a 9. It's a very good story, but it's super simple. But I mean, you don't need to be super complex to be good, if you know what I mean. On to fun. It is quite fun. I found fun just like messing around. I love the Undertale-esque. Like there's this worm that you kind of like help him out with. He's like, oh my back. He's hurting. So you're like, I want to help, and you help him by making him into a balloon animal dog. You make him into a balloon dog. And then like you continue on to the story and the end of the game before you go on the rocket ship you're building to get back to that's the main premise, is getting back to the but you come back and he's just on the ground and his wife's like, what have you done? What happened? What am I gonna tell the kids? And he's just on the ground as the dog you made him. Oh, oh honey, what happened to you? Uh, uh, my husband, he's, oh, this is too awful to say. What am I supposed to tell the kids? Their father is a dog now. Scandalous. It's way too good. I would say it's quite fun. Without any bias, I will say it is like a decent 8.5 out of 10. But that's the ratings for this game. On to the next, I do presume. Second game on the roster. Do not look back, or don't look back. This one is an interesting one. I'll tell you that. I will pay in mind it is early access. So we must heed mind to that. It's not a fully complete one, but I do have some criticisms and stuff. But besides the fact, it is a fun game. I like it a lot. I like the concept and everything. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so spooky. You have entered the abyss, but it is not time for you to look into it. Keep your gaze away from the cooked man. The crooked man. Got it. Find 6 keys, progress deeper into the abyss. Okay. So my guess is there's a dude. Oh man, okay. Here, I gotta. Boo! Did I get you? Anyways, this is a very interesting game. I enjoyed playing it for a little bit. Very simple premise. Get the key. Don't look at the big red dude. This might be a little bit of a shorter segment. This will be a little bit smaller, but I do have a couple more things to say before we move on to the third game. First off, the gaming mechanics. I do enjoy the premise, and it's super simple. You don't need anything too complicated to actually make something good. Like, you don't even need to read that intro bit. You just look up in the top corner, it says 0 out of 6 keys, and you're like, just looking. Oh, I gotta look for keys. It's super simple, super easy to understand, but there is one problem. The keys are actually kind of hard to see, especially on how small the flashlight is. I get this flashlight small because if I didn't tell you, or if you didn't realize, the flashlight can be turned off, and it's when you shine the flashlight at him, you're quote unquote looking at him, and that's when he gets you. But just the flashlight's small enough. Like what most games do, for example, is they have the key on the ground or whatever, and then they have this like little glowy effect on it. There's like a little shine, maybe just a particle, a little you know, the little white particles that kind of look like a 4-pointed star or whatnot, or like a little shine. But let it be seen better, because it like you're running through And at a point, you're just like spam clicking because you can't see where the keys are. And also, I do feel like the spawning locations, like it was random. The kitchen table at the very beginning when you turn to the left, as you saw, and I just got right there. But I'll get to the jump scare as well. I do have a little tidbit about that as well, and to make it quote unquote better. But adding that level of like randomness, as I was saying, the table had the key, but every time I came back to that, it wasn't there. So it was random. There were just so little locations that it could have been, that after like my fourth time dying, I actually figured out where all the main locations were and got like 5 keys right off the bat. So having like more locations or like a bigger, I get that it's also kind of hard to do that. I didn't go too much into level 2 though. Maybe level 2 is a lot better. Anyways, on to the second point. The jump scare is okay, but I do have a problem with like, it's less of a it got me scary jump scare type thing. It's more like, oh man, he got me, because your camera jumps to his face and he jump scares you. A little recommendation, if the developer is watching this, or if anyone knows the developer or whatnot, or wants to like post this out, I love the game, but to make it a little bit more creepier, add suspense in the jump scare. Here's a funny bit. If you give someone enough time to think that they can run, and it's impossible to run, obviously you already looked at the dude, you're dead anyways, but if you give someone enough time to realize he's coming after me, and you have the ability to run away, quote unquote, adds that extra, and then you just make him like run at you. Instead of the camera jumping to you, have him come to you to jump scare you. As example, you'd like look over at him, and his neck you'd hear his neck crack or whatnot. And then now you realize he knows you're there. You're like, uh-oh, that's not good. So you start running. All of a sudden you hear just a little pitter patters all the way up, just faster and faster and faster, and it'll get to you. And then that's when you jump scare. That would be funny, because then it adds the extra suspense. It makes it funny. I also do feel like it is easy to get got by him. You'll turn a corner and he'll just immediately zap you, and then you're dead. And you're like, oh, what was I supposed to do? He was around the corner. So I feel like also giving the player like a swift second, like a second where the camera zooms in, there's like a shake or a weird like redding around an area, like a vignette of red and iris veins and whatnot on your eyeball as you're like looking at him, just to give someone like a couple seconds, because the second he like a pixel or his hitbox comes into view, you immediately get got. So you're going around corners without your flashlight on because you don't know what to do. But on to the rating. But just so you know, once this game fully comes out, or any game that I review on here, if you want to enough, I've only played, mind you, I've only played like an hour of these games, around an hour. So if you want me to make a series if you see a game in this list that seems interesting, enough community voicing their want to watch could be enough to push me once these games come fully out, or if I haven't played enough into the game to actually make a little series off of it too. So keep that in mind as well. But on to the ratings. Big warning before we go fully into the ratings. Remember, this is, I will say this yet again. This is early access, so you don't have everything yet. Especially with like all the levels. There's 3 levels that I saw in the level selection. But let's just heed mind to that. All right, for gameplay, super simple. Flashlight on, off, get key, look for keys. Don't look at the big red dude. It's super simple. I'll give that around an 8.5 just because it's just the flashlight's so small, man. And I get the dark areas. It's just the flashlight's so small. You're up against the wall. It is impossible to see, especially if you try and turn it on. It is kind of funky, but yeah, 8.5 on gameplay. All right, on to intuitiveness. So I'll give that one a 10 just for the pure fact that it is just get 6 keys. It is super simple enough to where you don't even need to watch or read the beginning bit. You understand it because you got the 6 keys found or something like that. So I will be giving that a 10. Super simple. Good. Big. I know what I'm doing immediately, and most people should be able to understand the concept quite quickly. On to story. This one is quite lackluster. I don't know if it's because I never went into stage or world part 2, whatnot. And obviously we still have a part 3, and I don't know how many parts or how long this game is actually being planned to be. But as it stands right now, and what I've seen, there's pretty much no story. It's just like all hidden by a bunch of notes all around the game. If you're watching the footage, it's just straight up just a bunch of sticky notes and little notepads. I mean, I couldn't be bothered. I know some people will be down to be reading all those and whatnot. I'm not. I'd rather the story be shown and then have like more nooks and crannies where you'd use all these notes and stuff to be like, oh, if you're wondering what happened to this specific person or the specific reason, instead of just being like, oh, you came into like you show that you wanted to go to a warehouse and now you're trapped, but then you have little notes around being like it calls people or something. That's what you use the notes for. So this is gonna like a 1 for the story as it stands right now. It may get better later as well. Obviously, still, yet again, it is early access. But right now, in my opinion, there's no story, or it's kind of just hidden a ton of dialogue, or just a bunch of text. I mean, by all the notes hidden around the map. So that's not gonna be too great. Alrighty, for one of the most important ones, I would say the most important one, fun. Is it fun actually? And I'd say yes. Even though I do have my gripes, I do find it quite fun to run around and trying to avoid shining your light, avoiding your gaze to this big lanky red dude that's running around. He's like trying to talk to you. He's like, I can see you, but you can't hide from looking at me or something like that. As he's like running around, I find it's quite fun trying to like maneuver around him. You could be in the room with him, just don't look at him. So I like the way you maneuver around. Instead of avoiding his gaze, you're trying to avoid your gaze from looking at him. So I'd say that's a pretty decent 8 I'd say an 8, obviously. The keys kind of die that down, and how like spontaneous him getting you is. So you become more cautious, and you can like barrel through the game at that point quite quickly. But besides that, it is quite fun. But anyways, on to the third game. Yes, this is a game about clicking a dog. Yep, there's not much to talk about. It's just you and your mouse and a dog. Just clicking. You're just clicking the dog, guys. And since this video is already like 25 minutes long, we're just gonna speed blitz this. Ready? All 4, go. 1, 2, 3, bam! All of them. I don't think I gotta really explain myself on why I rated certain things certain ways. There's just a little explanation. There's no upgrade. There's nothing. There's no auto click. There's no upgrade click. There's no multiplier, no rebirth. It is just straight up you click in a dog. And yes, I did use an auto clicker for an hour and got to, if I remember correctly, like 200,000. I don't know. I'll just put it on the screen. But that's it. I guess on to the intro, on to the outro. Yeah! Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that. But sorry about the slight delay on the video. But it's out now, so please enjoy.